the others can then join in. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another session of Vaya. Today's topic will be the ethical implications of artificial intelligence. For those joining for the first time, uh, this is basically there'll be a presentation for around 20 to 25 minutes, then followed by an opportunity for you to express your views or even put forth some new points with regards to what comes up during our discussions. So, with that, let's move in directly to the presentation. As we all know, artificial intelligence is one of the most transformative technologies of the 21st century. And we see that its rapid development and integration into everyday life present a lot of opportunities for us, and at the same time there are certain challenges which are there, which in a way force us to be careful, force us to think about what are the ethical implications, etc. At the same time, while AI promises to revolutionize industries, enhance productivity, and even improve decision making, there are also significant risks, such as the increasing inequality, the reinforcement of biases, and also the privacy, undermining of privacy. Secondly, in many forums, we see that there is a lot of pessimism concerning AI and the use of AI and what is the future of artificial intelligence, how it's going to impact our life. But for that, we need to, in a way, see what can we do, because in a way we cannot escape the reality. AI is there, it is going to be there, we cannot do anything about it. So how can we navigate, how can we in a way look at the potential risks and benefits and move on with certain implications in life? So we see that AI systems are increasingly being used now in various aspects of our life, whether it is in healthcare, whether it is in academics, whether it is in education, and even in entertainment. Now, first and foremost, let's take a look at certain benefits of AI. So, we see that AI has the potential to revolutionize healthcare by improving diagnostic accuracy, also predicting disease outbreaks, and also personalizing treatment plans. So, we have also machine learning algorithms which can analyze medical data to identify patterns and predict the outcomes of patients. This also helps the doctors in making informed decisions. And therefore, AI powered tools such as virtual health assistants and telemedicine platforms also enhance access to healthcare, particularly in remote and undeserved areas. Now, next is personalized experiences. So, AI also enables personalization and at various levels. And in a way, we can sort of tailor products, we can personalize products and experiences according to our own individual preferences. Now this is very evident in applications such as recommendation algorithms, which are used by various streaming services like Netflix and Spotify, which in a way analyze the user behavior in order to suggest content that aligns with their interests. And therefore, personalized AI also enhances customer service through various chatbots and virtual assistants that can provide real time customized support. For example, now, even if you're booking your railway ticket, there's an AI bot over there which makes the entire experience quite easy and quite friendly. Amazon also has introduced another AI bot. So, similarly, we see that all these help us in order to make things easy. Next, we have the improved safety in transportation. Now, autonomous vehicles that are powered by AI are designed to reduce accidents that are caused by human errors. So, these vehicles can analyze traffic conditions, they can detect obstacles, and also they can make real time decisions during the driving to ensure safe driving. So, in the sense, there are various warning devices now when there's an obstacle within a certain amount of meters. Sometimes even there is a feature where the steering wheel vibrates, so even if you are not paying attention, with that vibration you become alert and then you can avoid certain disasters. Similarly, AI is also being used in public transportation systems in order to optimize routes and schedules. And this also helps to reduce congestion and improve the overall efficiency. So the real time data is now possible. Secondly, we also see that there is also improved efficiency and productivity. Since AI excels at automatic routine and repetitive tasks, it allows human workers to focus on more creative and strategic activities. So, therefore, activities which are kind of repetitive, it in a way allows us to kind of take control and look at other things rather than and being involved in those same repetitive tasks. For example, in industries such as logistics and manufacturing, we see that AI driven robots and algorithms can optimize workflows, reducing human errors and also enhancing productivity. Similarly, we see that AI also plays a crucial role in data analysis, allowing businesses to process vast amount of information quickly and accurately. So this also leads them to make better decisions and also design products that are more in line with the demand of the people. Next, we also have environmental sustainability. Now, AI also has the potential to address pressing environmental challenges by optimizing resource management and reducing waste. For example, we see that AI powered systems can monitor energy consumption in real time, adjusting usage to reduce carbon emissions. Similarly, in agriculture, we see that AI driven technologies can also improve crop yields and also reduce the need for harmful pesticides by analyzing the soil and weather conditions. Similarly, it can also aid in environmental conservation by monitoring wildlife populations and also detecting illegal activities such as poaching. And we also have accessibility and inclusion, as AI can enhance accessibility for individuals with disabilities by providing various assistant technologies. For example, AI driven speech recognition systems can help people with speech impairments to communicate more effectively, while AI powered vision tools can also assist visually impaired individuals in navigating their environment. Similarly, we see that AI's abilities to translate languages and also provide real time captions also fosters greater inclusivity when it comes to digital spaces, allowing more people to access and participate in global conversations. Now we see that with the benefits, there's also the element of risks that come. First and foremost, we have this reinforcement of biases. So, one of the most significant ethical concerns when it comes to AI is its potential to reinforce and amplify existing biases. Now, we see that AI systems learn from historical data, which often reflects the societal biases based on race, gender, and also socio-economic status. Now, if these are not properly addressed, these biases can also manifest in the AI decision making process. And as a result, we see that it can also lead to various discriminatory outcomes. For example, AI driven hiring algorithms may favor certain demographic groups over others based on the biased training data, perpetuating inequality in the workplace. Similarly, there's also this job displacement and economic inequality. We see that while AI enhances productivity, it also poses a risk of job displacement, particularly in industries that rely solely on manual labor and routine tasks. Now, the automation of these kind of jobs could lead to widespread unemployment, which can affect the low income workers, and also it may lead to an increase in the already existing economic inequality. Now, although new jobs may emerge in AI related fields, there is also a risk that the benefits of AI will be concentrated among a small, highly skilled workforce, leaving others behind. So, nowadays, we see that there are many workshops. For example, when you go on YouTube, you may have various ads of people organizing workshops of integrating AI along with Microsoft tools in order to help you better uh, your presentation skills, your Excel skills, etc. So we see that this is going to be a need of the hour, wherein you will have to kind of equip yourself to face the needs of the time. There are also privacy concerns. So AI's ability to collect, process, and analyze vast amounts of data also raises certain privacy concerns. In many cases, we see that individuals may not be aware of the extent to which their personal information is being used by AI systems, which can also lead to violations of privacy. For example, AI driven surveillance technologies can track people's movements, their behaviors without their consent, which can also raise various ethical questions about the right to privacy in public and private spaces. Next, you also have autonomous weapons and military applications. So, the development of AI for military purposes, particularly in the form of autonomous weapons, raises a lot of ethical concerns. Now, autonomous weapon systems can make decisions without human intervention, potentially leading to unintended or unethical outcomes. Also, the use of AI in warfare can also raise questions about accountability and responsibility, as it becomes difficult to attribute blame for harmful actions that are carried out by machines. Then there's also lack of transparency and accountability. Now, many AI systems also operate as black boxes, similar to that we have in the aircrafts, meaning that their decision making processes are not easily understandable or transparent to users. And therefore, this lack of transparency may pose certain ethical challenges, as it can be difficult to determine how AI arrived at a particular decision or outcome. So, what is the process? Why this decision has been taken? What is the rationale behind it? And therefore, the opacity of AI systems can also hinder accountability, making it challenging to address errors or biases. And also, the whole question, do we hold developers responsible or users responsible for the harm caused by AI? Therefore, there can also be manipulation and misinformation. So we see that AI driven algorithms also are increasingly used to manipulate public opinion through spread of misinformation and disinformation. Social media platforms, for instance, we see rely on AI to curate content and target advertisements. But these systems we see can also be exploited to disseminate false information or polarizing content. Deepfake is one of the examples when it comes to this. Now, we also need to ensure certain ethical development. Given the potential risks that are associated with AI, it is essential to deploy AI systems that can prioritize ethical considerations. So, one among them is bias mitigation. So, here we need to ensure that the data that is used to train AI systems is representative of diverse populations. And this can help to reduce the likelihood of biased outcomes. So, this may require curating data sets that include individuals from various racial, gender, and socioeconomic backgrounds. Then you also have bias auditing. So, regularly auditing AI systems for biases is very important for identifying and addressing any unintended discriminatory effects. So, this process generally involves analyzing the system's decisions and outcomes to determine whether there are patterns of biases, as well as retaining the AI model to eliminate these biases. Then also we have algorithmic fairness. So here we see that developers should prioritize fairness when designing AI systems, ensuring that algorithms do not disproportionately impact specific groups. So this can be done by incorporating fairness constraints into the model development process. Next, we have transparency and explainability. So here we see that researchers and developers should focus on creating AI systems that are explainable as well as interpretable. So explainable AI allows users to understand how and why AI systems made a particular decision, and therefore this can reduce the risk of error or harm. Next, also we see that developers should provide clear and accessible documentation outlining how AI systems function, including the data that is used, the algorithm applied, and the decision making process that is involved. And therefore, this should be available both to users as well as to regulators. When it comes to privacy protection, we see that AI systems should collect and process only the minimum amount of personal data that is necessary for the intended use. Now, this will reduce privacy violations, and also it will ensure that we have control over our personal information. Then developers can also adopt a privacy by design approach, which involves having privacy protections into the design and development of AI systems. So, this includes, in a way, implementing encryption, anonymization, and also other privacy enhancing technologies to safeguard our data. Then also AI systems that collect personal data should require informed consent. There should be informed consent from users so that individuals understand how their data will be used, and they also have the option to opt out of the data collection if they want. When it comes to regulatory frameworks, we see that effective regulation is important so that AI systems are developed and used ethically. So, government and international organizations should collaborate to establish certain regulatory frameworks and standards for AI development. So, we see that regulatory bodies should outline certain ethical principles and best practices for AI development and deployment. They should also be designed in a way that respects and upholds human rights, including right of privacy, freedom of expression, and freedom from discrimination. And also, we see that given the global nature of the development, international cooperation is very important for establishing consistent and enforceable standards. So, this includes collaborating on issues like cross border data flows, AI safety, and the ethical use of AI in areas such as surveillance and law enforcement. Now, when it comes to ethical AI governance, companies and organizations developing AI should also establish ethics committees to oversee AI projects and also ensure that ethical principles are integrated in the decision making process. In addition to the ethics committee, you can also have external accountability boards that can provide independent oversight of AI systems. Now, these boards should have the authority to review these projects and also investigate into potential ethical violations. Ultimately, we see that engaging the public in discussions about AI ethics is very important to ensure that AI systems align with societal values. And therefore, organizations should try to get input from the public on ethical issues that are related to AI and also incorporate this feedback in the development process. So we see that overall the ethical implications of AI are very complex, they are also multifaceted, and therefore there is a lot of potential to shape society in both positive as well as negative ways. Again, it depends on how it is used. While there are numerous benefits, at the same time, the risks should be taken care of. And therefore, ensuring that AI is developed and used ethically requires a kind of a multi approach, not only from the developer's point of view, but also how we as individuals tend to use AI. And therefore, by prioritizing ethical considerations, we can make the most of AI and at the same time limit the harm that it can cause. There are few questions which can help our reflection. First, how can we ensure that AI systems do not reinforce existing biases and discriminations, particularly in critical fields such as healthcare, that is job hiring and criminal justice? Then, in what ways might the widespread integration of AI industries such as transportation, healthcare, and manufacturing increase economic inequality and job displacement? And finally, to what extent should AI developers and companies be held accountable for privacy breaches and unethical uses of AI, such as in surveillance or misinformation. So we can either begin with these questions, or if you have any other views or opinions, you can put them forward and then we can carry forward our discussion. Anybody would like to begin?
Thanks, Venture, for the presentation. Perhaps others could come in with their questions or comments. Uh, I'll come a little later with my comments here. Perhaps for those some who joined late, could give a just a summary probably at the end in case if it helps them. Some joined a little late in case it helps.
Yeah, so basically, what we looked at today was kind of we had the risks, as well as we looked at the potentials of AI, and also we saw what are certain ways how things can, how we can in a way enhance the use of AI, like whether we require ethical governance frameworks should be there, what should be done for privacy protection and bias mitigations. So Claudius, can we begin with you for a few comments?
Yeah, I was just reading the question, trying to uh, say absorb the question in that sense. When it comes to biases, um, sometimes I feel AI can be very objective based on its coding. It may not be to our favor, but it can be very objective in the sense of objectifying practically every human being based on productivity. So I don't know if you would, I mean, you know the example of the traffic light, and if an old lady is passing, if it's green, then should you follow the rule or should you hit the old lady and go away? So in that sense, according to AI, it would follow, I mean, I assume it would follow the green traffic light, regardless of the old lady crossing the road. Uh, Versus a human being would consider braking. But in that sense, at the same time, I also feel that AI would value life and would also stop the brakes because there's a human being in front of it. Not that because it's an old lady, but because there's suddenly a human being in front of the car. I mean, in considering the automatic driving and all that. So many people have said that in comparison with a young person or an old person, I think even in church morality, you have the example of the plane landing in a city and a plane landing in a field. Obviously, the even a human being would choose the less destructive one and the less damage possibility. So I don't think, in that sense, considering output wise or considering quantity or amount of damage, AI is biased in that sense. That is, I mean, how I would personally see it. It objectifies based on its code. Though we may have many other questions, I still feel that so far it is very objective, and I would not say it's biased in that sense, according to me.
Okay, just adding to that also, I think in another forum there was another view of the use of AI, maybe in also education, right? For sort of assessing answer keys and all. Whereas in the traffic example, we see that okay, it's objective and it won't make much of a difference. But I think in an education setup, uh, there may be a kind of a difference, because sometimes we see that when if AI takes charge of assessing papers, there would be an answer key, key points would be provided, and then it would judge based on that. Then the kind of room for adjusting certain things, like accommodating certain other points, may not work out well, because see, sometimes what happens is, based on also, there's a tendency sometimes to also push students, those who are at the borderline. So AI may not be able to actually do that. So even in other fields, maybe, yeah, there may be a little bit of objectivity, but when it comes to these certain decisions which can sometimes make an impact, may not be possible. But yeah, we can hear the others also. Yes, Austin.
Yeah. um Now we no longer can say that we are threatened by AI, or whether we should be worried about we are about jobs. You said the
Oh,
economic factors, whether people can be replaced by AI and so on. So maybe we need to start embracing AI and reconcile the fact that AI is part of our lives, and uh, we should not go on saying that AI something is something we do not know. We always fear. Usually, we think that we do not know what is certain, whether things will happen, what will happen to us, and whether AI will take control over us, all that. So we need to find ways. I'm also not sure how it is going to be, because it's unknown territory. How much AI can develop itself into, whether it can at one fine day become like a human being. uh, Human beings are unpredictable, though we, because we go by emotion sometimes, not only rationality. So whether AI also can incorporate these things, uh, not just going with the what do you call, the codes, the programs, but just whether it also can go into feeling level, aesthetic level, and so on. Already it's doing a lot of things. uh, we are aware of it. So it's a complex thing, but I see it as an opportunity. I see it as a growth to human beings, uh, especially the factor that AI is helpful to people, those who are lonely, those who are socially isolated, those who cannot interact with people. At least they are trying to find some solace in robots or the AI companions. So there are factors. There is hope, I feel.
Yeah, thank you, Austin. I think also adaptability will be one of the key features, that, for example, those who attended a screening of Hidden Figures, we see that in that movie, when initially you had the humans doing all the calculations, then when you have the IBM computing machine that is brought, so initially there is this fear that they may kind of lose their jobs, but ultimately we see that they adapt themselves, they learn how to use, and then the whole kind of group which initially used to do these manual calculations now are the ones who are using the computer for their calculations. So in a way, I think a similar approach will have to be used when it comes to AI. We'll need to adapt ourselves, because it is inevitable. We live in an AI world, and then digital world, we say, and then therefore we need to adapt to it. Ajay, can we
Yeah, I would like to. Am I audible?
yes.
Yeah, I would like to comment on what Claudius spoke. Actually, the objectivity and the subjectivity, and then the Austin spoke about um, making errors in the. I mean, so what my reflection is that AI is a data driven decisions, right? It relies on data to make decisions, and it minimizes personal biases that can affect uh, our human judgment. So, and also one more reflection is that I believe that AI can never possess consciousness, right? Because it's a matter of emotions also. Emotions cannot be produced outside the body. outside the body can never be produced. So when we look into through these lenses, where the human judgments and the AI, so I feel that unless the training data contains the data which is uploaded or fed in, there could be error that can come. But then there is also possibility of making use of this AI in order to make biased result by feeding the wrong data, feeding a kind of design which is not helpful for the human beings. Like we saw that uh, Rajinikanth's movie, how they make use of the robo, I mean, Yendiran in Tamil, I think it is in Hindi, it is robo. How the second part also come, how that the machine turned itself into a kind of destructive mechanism. So it all depends upon how human beings, the consciousness, which is the very gift of from the God. So how we make use of the context and the algorithm and the data to make it biased or unbiased, to make it objective or not subjective. So that's what I would like to say. So far, I feel that it is very objective, cannot be subjective, but it depends upon the human, how we design the system.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Ajay. Joel?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Digitally, we can hear you.
Yeah. Embracing AI definitely is not a question as per the need of the time. We need to embrace the system. But definitely, I don't think AI will possess that consciousness. It is the extension of our mind. It is not a separate entity as such. AI is extension of human mind. It's uh, it all depends on how we human uh, ethically use the system given to us. We ourselves prepare. And uh, Lindsay was mentioning about the education system. I had an opportunity when I was working in the school to prepare a timetable. So I use the software. Using the software, we gave all the commands which is necessary, and restraint was given. But still, the outcome of the timetable was not as per we wanted. In a sense, we did not analyze the stress the teachers undergo if they are getting continuously 2 periods of time. So it all we need to make some adjustments. We had to make some adjustments after we extracted the outcome from the software. So we need to work on it and see how we can. We have the consciousness, and we have to make use of the AI module in a ethical way.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Joel. Can move to Rudolph. Yeah, you're not audible, Rudolph.
Rudolph, I think your audio is you need to select your right microphone.
Can you speak something, Rudolph? I think you're not speaking.
Speaking, but it is
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. It's clear now.
Now can you hear?
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So
Yeah, I joined the meeting little late. One thing which I got from you is that AI can't get consciousness. So that's what I thought, and yeah, I got it from you. And also, what others were sharing uh, is that AI can't make ethical decisions because it can't be subjective. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi. Yeah. Now you are frozen.
I think,
I think he's,
yeah, maybe Valley, you can take over for some time and then we can
yeah,
get back
yeah,
to
yeah.
Rudolph.
Yeah. Okay. Um, uh, Thank you for those clear both benefits. I mean, highlighting the benefits and the risks, and then the concerns. Perhaps what we need to be more worried, as you rightly said, and all of you rightly said, that AI is here. We can, it's inevitable. We cannot be going back, or there's no. AI is here, and it will have lots of benefits. There will be certain risks too. But I think as educators, formators, what we need to be uh, aware of are the concerns with regard to AI. Now, just a few clarification, probably just points is uh, the biggest advantage of AI is the speed of things. The speed of things it can do, what a human would do usually, uh, whether it is calculations from the time of computers, computational speed is what really matters for AI. Now, when you are paying attention to the concerns, what we need to really make a distinction between is AI, which others have mentioned also, is it just a tool, a mere tool, algorithmic tool, or is it something more than a machine or a tool? When we say artificial intelligence, as long as in artificial, no problem. The intelligence that is artificial, no problem. Or is it more than a machine, more than a tool? Which means, as a tool, all the tools that we are using are only extensions of our human function. So it is only an extension, or is it becoming transhuman, what we call beyond human, and an intelligence that is beyond human? That is where probably we need to be aware of. Is some of you have mentioned about consciousness. Again, what do we mean by consciousness? Consciousness as just an awareness, like an animal has an awareness when you touch, or a worm, when you touch it, it becomes aware, or a plant becomes aware. I don't think that will be, again, will not be a problem. It is aware, I mean, it's aware of surroundings by using cameras as we have eyes, and it is aware what's happening. That will not be problem. But I think what is a problem is today what they are promising about self-learning, self-learning aspect of AI. If it is self-learning, will it becomes a transhuman intelligence? And that's where probably concerns are there. Since we are talking about ethics here, uh, Aristotelian ethics, if you are trying to put the three principles, probably you have to look into the logos, the telos, and the ethos. Logos is principles. And these principles, I think, are not for actually the machine tool, but for the makers, those who are writing the coding. Because all this, what we have talked about now, bias, objectivity, all these things, it's, as someone mentioned, what is written code language, that is what we are going to get. So the ethics is for the creators of AI or AI enabled tools, than AI itself, probably. And that is where justice, we have justice with regard to privacy, justice with regard to sustainability, in that aspects need to be taken into account. And the telos Aristotelian term is what purpose? Is it for enhancing intelligence of humans or is it for profit oriented? I think that is where question comes. Why we have YouTube, for just let's take YouTube, AI driven YouTube. Is it running to make advertisements and make money for the corporates, or is it entertainment for the viewers? That's where I think the ethical aspects come in. And the last is the ethos or the virtues what Aristotle spoke about. Can think of a techno virtue today. The virtue is meant for human beings. Can we think of a techno virtue? We can say that if it is only a moral subject, then ethics is applied. What about AI as a techno virtues that we need to talk about? I think these are the things that we need to keep in mind and at the same time uh, educate ourselves in using AI probably.
Yes. Thank you, Ali. Rudolph, would you like to come in and then maybe we can gather all these points and
Uh, yeah, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. So yeah, I joined in a little late, so I heard only two or yeah, I think two or three sharings. So from that, I just gathered that AI can't get consciousness. So many were telling that it can't get consciousness, especially the subjective experience, what we can call, in other words, the qualia. Yeah, and also that implies that it can't make ethical decisions as we make. So yeah, okay. I also am in the thinking in the same line, but also I have another point to, uh, yeah, to counter this. That is why do we require subjectivity in taking ethical decisions, especially uh, let's take uh, uh, let's take, why can't it be objective? So won't it be good that ethical decisions or judgments are taken objectively? For instance, a judge who is hungry, there are papers. A judge who is hungry towards towards closer to lunchtime. So he will be very quick in taking decisions, and he will not know, and he will not know what to take, and he might give without thinking much. He might just pass judgments and give more prison time. Yeah, there are some research papers on that. So, and also let's take war, for example. A soldier fighting in the war might be tensed, might be going through all those feelings, so much hatred, so much of violence. He is frustrated, and he's just killing everybody. He just can't withstand all these things. And what if we use artificial intelligence in these situations? Uh, so it can be objective enough. So it will not act on impulses, or it yeah, and yeah, this objectivity. Why can't my question is, why can't ethical decisions be taken objectively? So a set of principles, or if this is there, some conditions, and okay, this is the judgment, or yeah, this is the reason. So why can't this be an alternative than subjective judgments? So this is my question, and yeah, we can think in this line also.
Okay, thank you, Rudolph. Maybe anyone can take questions or anyone can take any view which they liked, and then we can begin a discussion. So, just to begin, maybe as what Rudolph mentioned, why can't AI be objective? A question to everyone. is this, when we are thinking of this, that there is a need to be subjective, are we thinking in the lines of equality versus equity? Because equity in a way will focus on recognizing and addressing different needs, different circumstances, and the situations that people face, whereas equality means everybody is put on the same platform, same resources, same opportunities, regardless of circumstances or need. So can we bring this as a factor into AI? uh,
All are wondering about this profound question.
You mean bringing a balanced approach, like a flexible approach, flexible frameworks, bringing that concept into AI?
yes, in a way, because I mean, yeah, we can. Objectivity is always good, because in the sense, there's no scope for injustice, and no scope for bias, etc. But again, on the other hand, I mean, what about considering the situations or challenges that individual faces, which AI may not be able to. I mean, see, when we look at pedagogy, uh, we also look at various things like the circumstances, the situation before taking any decision. Now when it comes to AI, will it be capable, or can it be capable of doing that? That is a question. If yes, well and good, should not be a this thing. But if no, are we missing out on something? Are we missing the human touch, in other words?
Uh, yeah, it's very few of us are there. I don't need to press the raise hand. Let me raise the hand itself. Um, Now, my question, though, few of us have mentioned about it, about objectivity, which has come quite a lot. My question is there really an absolute objectivity? Is there really an objectivity? Uh, because if it is objectivity, whose objectivity? Just I would like to bring in the sense that what's going on in Lebanon today, last few days, perhaps, it looks like Israel has totally uh, intruded into the communication system of Hezbollah. Now, leaving aside who is right, who is wrong, just looking at this situation itself, if a country is able to um, enter into the communication system of another group, whether you call them terrorists, whatever this one, or another entity, that leads to a bigger question now. Whose objectivity is there? Who is calling this is objective, this is not objective? Because if Israel can break into the communication system of Hezbollah, an entire country, and they are targetingly able to send missiles, I don't think it will be far off when any government will be able to intrude into the privacy of any. Privacy will be a much more this one, but simply the the individual integrity of subjects. So a government may call it is very objective, but that's where I think can AI can ever be objective in the sense of a really absolute objectivity, neither my view nor his view nor her view. Can that be really possible? Yeah. In human way, it is not possible. Will AI be really objective, or it will be somebody's objectivity? That's my question.
So
Yes. Claudius?
I think in terms of, since computers run on ones and zeros, I personally think that AI can be more non-biased than human beings. Because when it comes to teaching, for example, technically to pass a person who has not reached a certain standard would be in a sense biased. Even though the human factor is mercy and okay, you want that person to pass, but uh, then the whole point of the exam gets diluted towards, if that person cannot, so to say, reach a certain standard, then the exam by itself does not make sense. See, the very fact you're having an exam, you're having a test, you're having numbers as marks, uh, uh, that itself means that there is a certain requirement to get certain amount of numbers and certain amount of marks. Now, if AI in terms of education, as Lindsay mentioned, I still think that maybe okay, we have been using this study method for few hundreds of years where you write an exam and then so that has been there for many years in that sense. So, and when we are looking at it from AI's point of view, uh, like for example, if you take maths as a subject, I don't think AI will be biased towards any student in terms of correcting papers in subject of maths, logic, algebra, geometry. I think it will do a very decent job in correcting those papers. So then, if it does a decent job in one subject, and we argue that no, actually it cannot correct other, subjects per se, then it is not about correcting, it is about more about how the subject is assessed. Maybe our assessment that we are doing is very different from a computer how it would do, and maybe we need to change our assessment process rather than having it in numbers and marks. Because if you really think about it, 10th and 12th standard, when the teachers actually correct, do they actually read word by word the answer that people write 4 or 5 pages of essay? Or do they just see the amount of pages and say, okay, he has done this much, and then give a tick mark, okay, I feel his handwriting is nice. I feel, okay, he has put in a lot of effort. So you give marks based on what you feel, and that day, if you happen to have a bad day, that child is in whatever, that paper is in a mess. So then, is it really objective correction when people get percentages and based on that, a future is decided for a child to enter a particular college? I would say it's not, because then, for example, if AI had to judge that paper, you would literally type anything if number of pages were a criteria. You would literally type anything as long as the bullet points are correct, and you would make any story, and then AI should give you that marks if that is the assessment level. So I feel that, I mean, then if you're really making AI judge things, then it needs to be assessed in a different way. That is what I personally feel. Which I still feel AI would be non-biased as compared to us.
Mhm.
I would like to make a comment. Actually, we started with the AI, then we have come to that objective, subjective, and then now I leave this uh, discussion with a confused mind and heart, where Rodolphe asked the question, why the ethical decisions should not be objective? And Wally asked the question, what is actually the objectivity? Is there objectivity existing? So, in fact, I feel that uh, it's a human, my feeling thought that there is no ultimate objectivity fine. If just taking a wild example, if we are sent, if someone else is correcting my paper here, and I may get 2 or 3 marks uh, different uh, from the from the previous correction. So which mark is ultimately exactly correct? Whereas Claudius said, okay, when you come to algebra equations, all those things, it can go. step by step, and it can make a judgment based on the algorithm. But when it comes to complex things like the things regarding life and the complex issues, where is objectivity lying? Is there objectivity only with human beings, or if we is it objectivity lying only with the AI? Where is the objectivity lying? So that I am confused. So that's my kind of output from this session.
Yeah, when we say objectivity, as rightly pointed out, whose objectivity it is? Is it the objectivity of AI or the objectivity of the person who is feeding AI? It all, and it's ultimately comes with a question mark of human ethics. The person who is feeding, does he have the ethics at all?
Joel, thank you. Thank you also, Ajay, for those comments. Can we have some concluding remarks before we are already reaching the end of time? So, Vale, would you like to give some concluding remarks to the
Um, Just a general remark about why our itself is this is not a place where we really find 2 plus 2 is 4 answers. But I think our purpose here is that different opinions can come, different discussions can come. We can put questions, we can together search for some answers. And that's where I think when the questions become more tough, then we realize it's not as simple as that. And that's what has happened today. We began with the simple presentation of the benefits, risks, and concerns. Then talking about the concerns, we said that, especially with regard to AI, since it is AI is just an infant at this moment, actually. So there are lots of things which we do not know, lots of fears regarding this. But whatever it is, this infant is going to grow. And when it is going to grow, we need to be probably go along with this with regard to our knowledge about it, with regard to how we can make use of this. And that's what we have tried. There are difficulties. There are lots of unclarified things with regard to AI. But I think this forum has tried to certain uh, nuances of each questions. The questions are not that simple, but I think we need to continue the discussion, continue the conversation so that together we can find more answers and we can find probably go along with the AI. Thank you, Lindsay, for the presentation today and provoking our minds, our thinking. We'll continue perhaps this year is our theme is on AI and consciousness. So we'll continue this discussion next month. Thank you very much. Yes.
yes. Thank you everyone for joining and see you in the next edition next month. Thank you and have a good evening.